Welcome everybody to Clarence House in the community. This is a very exciting day for us. Well, we're on a historical Langston DC Housing Authority property here at Langston. This is a historical place. I'm glad to be back on the scene. I haven't been on the air for a while, but I got Aquarius, Vann-Ghasna, whatever.
That's exactly right, Aquarius, Vann-Ghasna. You said it exactly, precisely, and correctly.
Yeah, so I got her here today. You know, I'm very excited because you know, October is a heck of a month for me. You know, on the 3rd, which would be tomorrow, I'll be 67 years old, and I'm very, very happy to be here. Not only just to be here, but also to be here talking to you. I just wanted to let somebody know that it's a blessing to be where we are today. So I just want to hear from you, Aquarius.
Okay, let me tell you who I am. I'm Aquarius Vann-Ghasna.
Mm-hmm.
I am a native Washingtonian.
Mm-hmm.
I was born in Chinatown,
Mm-hmm.
736th Street Northwest.
Mm-hmm.
I went to Walker Jones Terrell in Dunbar.
Mm-hmm.
I got the opportunity to go to Walker Jones because allegedly I should have been going to Seton.
Mm-hmm.
But living in Chinatown, I wanted a real black experience because there wasn't that many black people that live in Chinatown.
So you live in Chinatown?
The real Chinatown.
The Chinatown with
Yes.
the Chinese?
Yes. As a matter
okay.
of fact, my apartment building is the apartment building that is a garage right on 6th Street. That was my apartment building.
Oh, okay.
And so I grew up playing with Chinese. My first role of understanding how to organize was with the Chinese community in Chinatown.
Okay.
Walker Jones Terrell and Dunbar led me to hang in Southern Quarter, Sibley Plaza.
Oh, okay.
There was a group of us. The group that I hung up with, we were no different than the other teenagers.
Mm-hmm.
However, in order to be with our group, you had to be a 4.0 or 3.0 average student.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, because not only was you going to be a menace to the community, you had to be smart.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And with
And
that,
you are smart.
and so what we did, and I'm a part of the DC track system, so
Yeah.
I was in 7-1, etc. So what we did was, when we got out of school, we would go over to Diane Marshall's house, and we would all study.
That's
and
a friend of yours,
yes.
Diane Marshall, okay.
And she's rest in peace.
Okay.
And so we would, you know, get our homework out the way, and then we would talk about which neighborhood we was going to terrorize. And when I say terrorize, this is what we did to terrorize.
And what you mean by
neighborhood.
terrorize?
I'm getting ready to tell you.
Okay.
First of all, we had no business coming in Northeast, going to no parties in Northeast.
Okay.
That's terrorization, because when you already know that there's community warfare, you should stay out of other people's community, but we didn't. So we would come over
So
to...
let me stop you right there. So community warfare had been going on a long time.
Yes,
so it
I'm
haven't just
70
started
years old.
in the last couple of years that we were talking about 15. It's been going on when you was a child.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, everybody knew about the Bay Street girls, the Southern Quarter girls.
Okay.
Okay, so, and there was my girls. We were the Chinatown girls, and we really had real Chinese girls and black girls like Ida Abney. We were, and they went to Seton. So I had an advantage, because going to Walker Jones, if I needed some muscles, I could also get some people from Seton as well. We really didn't fight like you think. We fought with our tongue.
Say what?
We fought basically with our tongue, and it was vicious. You know, you get mad. Instead of calling you, you know, you have all these people calling each other B-I-T-C-H. You know,
I was fighting with words.
Yes, we fought with words like,
I
so
never heard
your
of that.
mother.
I never heard of that.
So your mother was a hoe. And then you go back on me, and we just go back on each other, but it get vicious in tone, you know. And
But it
then,
was more mental, not physical.
yeah, we did mental stuff.
That's
Okay,
hip. That's
so
hip.
so it was words.
Yeah.
Okay, I was known as a peacemaker in the group. Raylene White, we talk about our childhood all the time. So, but I was influenced always by my mother, who died of COVID the last 2 years, Harriet Kelly. She came out of...
I think I met your mother once.
Yes, you met my mom. So my mother was teenage mom. So you see, I call her Harriet. So Harriet was the type of person that was like this. You had to go to Barnabon meetings, but she wasn't a member of Barnabon. They used to have these
You're going
meetings.
too far now. You talking about Barnabon. Some people don't even know what Barnabon is.
Well,
So can you just clarify a little bit on that?
Let me tell you what I can remember about it. There used to be these meetings on 6th Street, right in my block, right up the street from me. And Colonel Hassan. I just remember these names, and they wore the black, like the Panthers, so I could identify with that because I always wanted to be a Panther and be Angela.
Yeah.
But my mother would always take us to meetings like that. My mother wasn't a Muslim. However, I've heard Elijah Muhammad speak and let people know that he reads out of a Bible, and one day somebody's going to come and give him the message. My mother was very Afrocentric in a lot of ways.
Okay.
So I come from a family of activists, organizers, movers and shakers. Like I was raised by my grandmother.
I understand where you coming from now.
Yeah.
I got you.
My grandmother, Maddie Andrews, and my grandma, Ma, she was like this. She was into the church organization. So, of course, she had to go to church. I had to go to Franklin P. Nash Methodist Church. And my grandmother's church was one of the original churches with Washington Internet Faith Network, Franklin P. Nash Methodist Church. So I grew up with that. Okay, my stepfather, Calvin Cade, he used to work for Metro, but he was in the military, like the
You say Metro what? Metro what?
D.C. Metro.
You talking about D.C.
Ramada.
Transit, stuff like that.
No,
That's
he
what you
was
talking
with
about.
Ramada.
Or what's it, Metro?
He helped build the subway.
Oh, he helped build the Metro
Yeah,
subway
yeah.
back in the 80s. Okay,
So
I got you.
he would always talk political because he would like to listen to Farrakhan and debate that and debate the news. And I've always been a debater. Many people that even work for the Housing Authority know me from school, like rest in peace, Purry. Purry, as a matter of fact, Purry, when I was in school, Purry is older than me. So
Purry?
Yes,
Yeah,
Purry.
that's my man. That's my man.
I think we was in the 10th grade.
Yeah.
And Purry would miss his class sometime to come to hear my group debate. Because I came from 718 when we all debate. Like, you may know Jonathan Howard.
Right, yeah.
Okay, so all of us hung together.
Okay.
They were our boys.
Yeah,
So
okay.
now...
It's about searching quarters.
Yeah. So now... so that was a part of the growing up experience that shaped me. But now I got in trouble. I had a mouth. And I got put out of Turl in the 7th grade for maybe it was the 8th grade. And what did I do? Being grown, probably used profanity at my gym teacher because I didn't like... I liked gym, but I didn't like the fact of going in a locker and every girl being exposed and they could see your body. So I used to always try to be the last person.
Yeah.
Okay, that became a problem.
Yeah.
So I probably said something stupid to her like, "Are you gay?"
Yeah.
Okay, so and I probably did that a lot. And my mother did not live in Chinatown. My mother was living on 60th Street. So of course, I did transfer, so I went to Kelly Miller for the 9th grade.
Yeah.
So I got jumped by Beatrice Evans and her little crew. They wanted to jump me.
That's on the east side.
Yeah, because I'd never forget. I had a gym bag, but I used to like the little suitcase. So I had one. And when I came from there, from all of the Lincoln High School, wrote all on my suitcase. And I was pissed. So, of course, when I come back to Northwest, I'm telling Surgeon Quarter girls, y'all got me met with Kelly Miller. They ain't calling me like that. Okay, so then we had to plan. We always sit around and plan the things. Then I changed my mind and said, no, y'all can't go over to Kelly Miller. Not that we're going to be scared of them. But see, we'll end up probably going to jail. I can handle it. Yeah. Okay, so the way I handle it was every day I would look out the bathroom window and see all those Lincoln Heights girls thinking they was going to jump me. And one thing I learned real quick, whatever school you go to, learn the exits. Especially when you know that you got a big mouth and you can't hold back things.
So you had a mouth all the way back when you was young.
Oh, I was getting it at 5.
Oh,
my
goodness.
mother came to Turl, took her 20s off, put me over her lap, and wore me out.
Because they would say even today, in this day of time of 224, you still got a mouth. Your mouth is your conversation.
Well, guess what?
piece.
Meeting me, you would meet my mother. My mother worked for Housing and Urban Development, and she was a shop stewardess, and she was trained by Tommy Davis of Living Color. Barbara Davis trained my mother. My mother had a mouth.
Okay, yeah.
So all the women in my family, and all the women, well, can't say that because most people say if you didn't grow up. I grew up in a house with a grandfather and a grandmother, no welfare check, Chinatown. I'm a ghetto girl, and I'm proud of it.
Right.
My children.
That means that when you say ghetto, that means that you started from the bottom.
No, what being a ghetto girl is, I was born in 1953, so by the time, and we didn't live in the projects. So when you live in a neighborhood and you had slum landlords like William J. Davis, et cetera, we were the ghetto, you were the projects.
Okay. Oh, so you had different levels.
Yes.
Okay.
Now, here was the problem. In the ghetto, you may find a one-bedroom apartment, a living room. You're going to have a bathroom.
Like efficiency.
No, you have a one-bedroom apartment, but it's a private landlord. We're not getting any government subsidy. We paying market-to-market rent. But our landlord had 1,000 housing code violations in the unit. And
how many people was living in your place?
Well, in my house, it was just myself, my grandfather, and my younger sister that we really grew up with my grandfather.
So it was like 3 to 4 y'all in that
it was sometimes it was 3 of us, but we slept in the living room. But you would never know it because it was a real living room. You had pull out furniture at that time. Okay, then as you get older, the grandparents or whoever the adult, they take on the living room, you take on the bath, you take on the bedroom.
Switch over. Okay.
Yes. So, and at that time, D.C., instead of being the hood, we were the ghetto. And as a matter of fact, there's a record out called This Is the Ghetto. That was our record. That was our thing.
Okay.
So in generation, it's like when I talk about generation, I would say my grandmother came out of segregation.
Yeah.
So my grandmother, to the day she died, and she was a colored woman. And I could never understand why she wanted to be colored. And then my grandma, so I grew up being Negro.
Right.
Then my grandmother hated that word anyway and used to say, "You're not a Negro, you colored."
I remember the transition.
You colored.
Yeah.
Okay, so then when my mother was a teenage mother. So my mother, she comes up, she's telling us, "You're not colored, you're not a Negro, you're black."
Okay.
So
I remember that.
Okay, so now that was a division with the aunts and the mothers. When we have Christmas dinners.
So that's like almost like 3 different races.
So you can imagine we get these people in a room. Okay, then Angela, and then Catherine Cleaver, Nikki Giovanni. They didn't help our situation because we all became them too.
Right.
So the only difference was Nikki was real calm. She did hers in her poetry. Angela just shocked the world when she went from an afro straight in the head to a ponytail.
Right.
Okay, so, and Catherine Cleaver, a lot of people don't talk about her, who was a part of the Panther Party that was married to her husband, Alvin Cleaver.
Yeah.
And the Panther Party shaped us a lot because what people didn't realize, they had degrees.
Yeah.
And they were 4.0 average students. So that was the first time you see a group that organized and they could sit down and do goals. Well, in school, everybody thought, I thought too, I wanted to be a lawyer.
Right.
Okay. So I went to Antioch School of Law. And that's when I had my son Teron. So I went through, I think he would.
Oh, so you got a son?
Yeah, well, he's only being talked about because at Antioch, that's the first time for me to be pregnant. Okay. And I'm going to school pregnant, with a baby, and I just had the baby. He just came out like 2 weeks. Program said I can get in the program. So now I'd be in the program. Then we had a problem there. The school was having a problem. Thank goodness for Eugenia and my class. Now, I have had the opportunity in this world. When I went to Antioch, that was one of the best experiences I ever had with an executive board.
Antioch School of Law,
That's correct. Urban Law Institute, Gene and Edgar Kahn.
Right.
And no disrespect to Christina Kahn, who is now Edgar's widow. And I've learned from her, too, because as a commissioner, I've invited Edgar and his wife to the board so they could speak to the board so the board could be educated what his programs were about and what Antioch was about and what a social, I guess what I would want to call it is a social urban study education, which we don't have. And I would love to see that at the Housing Authority with the resident councils.
You know what, I'm going to tell you something. I'm sitting up here talking to you, And everything that you're talking about, things that you're talking about is what I experienced when I was a little boy. I'm talking about 12 and 13 and 14 years old. My family was part of the Black Panthers on 14th and Park Road, the hospitality house up there on Park Road, 14th Street. So I understand, because I kind of...
That's where you get that passion.
Yes,
and that's why when you talk, people, you can turn... Now, I turn off a lot of people when I talk based on the aggressiveness or the passionate. But I was taught, see, when you're around different cultures and you see how they organize at a young age, and you allow your mind not to be focused on one thing, but you're a jack of all things before you become a master of one. Because you pull it all in together. So one thing I always could do, I could comprehend, I can read. I write different than I talk. In order for me to speak the Queen's language, I have to meditate and think. And I have to know who my audience is. I'm a chameleon. I know me. I know who I am. I'm a registered Muslim. I've been into Islam ever since I was 14. And so, Islam leads me. That makes me have a conscience. Don't think as a leader that I ain't never want to. Just recently, when I lost my election at Potomac Gardens as resident council president, I was so hurt. I was hurt because the group that I thought that I had educate, see, it's loyalty over money. Don't follow the money. Let the money follow you. And with your loyalty, this is what you do with a loyalty. Clarence, I've known you a long time, and I'm never going to say that you and I won't have some type of issues. But if the day ever come, and we had an issue, and you was running for office, I have nothing bad to say about you. I don't want nobody coming asking me nothing. I ain't in it. That's what you call loyalty over money.
But you got to remember this here. Sometimes when things change around for today, it's almost a feeling that I already had all the time. But by I was getting fed with whatever that it was, that I'm always going to be your friend. And only until the light shine and the light go out, then I find out who's really with me. So this is why I talk and I have the show. Because at the end of the day, I'm just saying, at the end of the day, when I bring somebody to this table, are people that I really, really, really have a bond with. Why? Because of the special message that the community need to hear.
Let me tell you one thing that I have respect about you. You have always been a consultant, because as you know, on my property, we have a substance abuse program there on Saturdays. And even though I have a certification in substance abuse, your journey helped me shape and understood my role. And even though I evicted them because they were there for about 3 or 6, I never asked for nothing. And then you see, this is what I learned is my weakness. And this is what I've been practicing since I even left the Housing Authority after doing 17 years as a commissioner, the first commissioner to ever created the Resident Service Resident Initiative Committee. As a matter of fact, as a chairperson, I would have every provider, maybe every other month, I would have you all in the boardroom and explain to me what is going on with your numbers, et cetera, because that helped me to know how to vote. That's how I was trained from Chinatown with the Chinese. Okay? So now from there, I've had the opportunity to be trained by the same people that trained Obama, working with Paul Battle, Washington inner city self-help. So at 70 years old, and if I came from a
70 years old.
I'm 70 years old.
Okay.
Remember,
Pop.
Remember, that's when I went to Morocco by myself. And while I was there, I looked at how they gentrified. I also made sure that I covered for 7 days so I can stay into character. And my character was, I wanted to pray 7 days, 7 times. I wanted to pray seven times a day instead of 5. And I had Brennan me. He found me. And I told him I want to see poor people. I want to see where poor people live at. I want to talk to a group of wise Muslim women that's in leadership. And what I needed to ask them was my fault. And I shared all my negative faults. Now, this is what I already know about me. I'm rude.
Okay.
Okay, when I go somewhere, you know what I do? When I do a presentation, and even with the citywide resident councils of DCHA, have them at my mouth because I can't talk unless I tell you the history. How can you solve a problem if you don't know the history?
I tell anybody, by the time you hear arguments or you see things, you gotta know how it started from the beginning. And I tell it, I said, I just want to hear the beginning because all that other stuff, at the beginning would let me know what turn I should have made. Yeah, so I
Because you
understand
know
you're
what the history will make you do? If you study it right and get the right. As a matter of fact, I have a degree in urban studies, social planning. The same as Sidney Davis. He was one of my mentors.
Yeah.
Now, Sidney and I, we don't always get along either, but guess what we know how to do? We know how to debate.
Right.
And after that debate, we knew how to come to a common conclusion. We also know how to argue. Don't get us arguing.
Right.
Okay, so he's
also
a
my
passion.
mentor. He's also my mentor.
See, a compassion.
Sidney Davis.
Okay, now he didn't become my mentor overnight.
Yeah.
Now, Sidney became my mentor because of Dr. Howard Cross, rest
Right.
may he rest in peace. The Alliance for Concerned Men came into Potomac Gardens without David Gilmore asking the resident council
Right.
permission. And at that time, I was the vice president of our resident council. So I was against the Alliance. Oh, boy, was I.
That's
So-
the organization I come out of.
Yeah.
That birthed me.
Yes.
That birthed United Our Youth. So this is why it's so important that Clarence Miles and the community bring out people who are native Washingtonians who can relate and share the past, present, and future. So we're gonna push this thing right on up because I wanna get into after you graduated from college, right? And then you start going into your other fields, and now you're an organizer.
Well, what happened was I first was told first I was a terrible student until I wanted to. I was one of them.
You was a
people-
terrible student.
Yeah, I could graduate at 17. I never had to study because I automatically can make a C.
Right,
Remember,
right,
we
right. always
always say a C is passed. I don't have to make A or B. When my principal told me that I would not be able to graduate due to my
Was that
behavior,
Dunbar?
my behavior,
I
yes,
was a Dunbar
Dunbar.
also too, yeah.
Because of my behavior, Miss Beckwith was my
Beckwith,
principal.
yeah.
Miss
She was my
Beckwith
principal, yeah.
she was from one of them islands.
Yeah, yeah.
Miss Beckwith caught me hooking class in the bathrooms, and that's why I've been just watching Tubi movies. I've been having fun watching Tubi. But look, why I did the same thing. I was in the bathroom, myself and Annie Cunningham. We're in the bathroom hooking class, so she would check the bathrooms for real. So we
Yeah.
decided stand on the toilet stool. 'Cause what principal do you know going to really bend down and see if somebody on the toilet stool?
Miss Beckwith.
Miss Beckwith, and that's how we got caught.
Yeah.
So that was like my last warning, my last this. My mother, my grandmother didn't have legal papers on me. So one of the things that really hurt my feelings, because now once I finished at Kelly Miller, you know, I'm definitely going to Dunbar.
Yeah.
Okay, so now this is what I knew to do. I said, this is unbelievable because I'm trying to get out of school and be 17. So then she told me, and you can't. I said, well, I can go to Armstrong Night School and go to day school too. She said, no, you can't. Really? Let me
Yeah.
tell you something. I didn't write the laws. I only know how to read the laws and challenge them, but I'm not going to challenge the laws to go to jail.
Right.
Now, everybody, if you don't want to learn to read and write, blame yourself because in today's society, we all can learn how to read and write. Comprehension is the problem.
There you go. There you go.
Comprehending what you
There you
read
go.
and write and understanding your
There you
options
go.
and
Yeah.
understanding the difference between words that say and,
Right.
maybe,
Right.
or, neither,
Right.
either.
Right.
Those are dangerous language
right,
words
right,
in the
right,
American language. So
right.
let me tell you what I did.
Because most of the words you say is still at a standstill.
Guess what I did? Paid no mind, went over to Armstrong and lied
Yeah.
and told them people
Yeah.
that I wasn't in nobody's day school, and I went to day school and night school, and then when it all hit down, they told me I couldn't go to college. Wrong.
Yeah.
I saw the college, and I used to like getting the Sweet 16 book.
Mm-hmm.
'Cause I
Oh, come on, Aquarius, they don't do this.
You
thing.
remember the Sweet
My sister
Sweet?
used to read that
Oh.
thing all the time. Yeah. My older sister.
Yes.
She's like your
That's
age
how
now.
you
She
learn
used to
how to
read that.
dress, your
Yeah.
fashion.
Oh,
And then
man.
and it taught you etiquette.
Yeah.
How to, you know, you can learn. And see, not only that, I've seen the Star in the East. I
Yeah.
was a friend.
Yeah.
I I've been in a lot of secret organizations as well. So I'm gonna be honest with you. I know better.
Right.
So when I'm rude, I'm not gonna make up excuses.
Right.
I meant to be rude. If I throw shade, the shade was intended.
Oh, yeah, we know that.
See, I'm not gonna make up excuses for you because see, I'm human. But guess what made me a great leader?
Yeah.
I didn't hold it against you.
Yeah.
See, I already know you stabbed me in the back.
Right.
I know what you did, but guess what? If I gave a trip, that trip was for everybody. I learned that one thing. Now, this one thing I did. No other commissioner had to do this to win. That's why after 17 years, I wasn't doing it no more.
So you keep saying commissioner.
What is a commissioner?
Yeah, what is a commissioner and what was you commissioned?
Okay.
And I say that not because you keep saying it.
Yeah.
Because somebody walked past, what is she talking about?
Oh, okay.
Because
Well, I'm gonna give you a quick history. The District of Columbia Housing Authority is an independent government agency.
Mm-hmm.
At the present time, the mayor did a coup, and so what she did was construct a board, which is legal. What she did was legal. She did it right after I left. So her commissioners are the same. What a commissioner is, number one, I'm a District of Columbia Housing Authority commissioner.
Mm-hmm.
I made policies in housing for 52 properties. I along with 10 other people. Me by myself, I would never be the housing authority.
Right.
You see all of us together, we are the housing authority.
So you got 10 other commissioners.
Yes. So what we
11?
did, we made policy.
Policy, okay.
And the policy we made they were called resolutions.
Okay.
And the Congress do a bill. The city council do a bill. A resolution, think of it as a bill. It's a document that is a legal binding document that you can hold the housing authority accountable for. And each of the commissioners, believe it or not, all of us do have a part in the resolution. In any resolution that you have seen with every director we have had, including now Director Pettigrew, it may be, you'll see what Aquarius said, what Bill Slover said, what Denise said, what Rosa said, what was said behind closed doors. A lot is done behind closed doors before we come up to vote. And we vote on a resolution. It's not a resolution till you vote on it. And even though the mayor always had more appointees, one of the advantages you can have as a public housing commissioner, whether you're appointed by the mayor or elected, it is important and vital that you speak in that mic and put on that record the pertinent issue of law that if a resident need a lawyer, that lawyer could pull those minutes and resolutions to help you as in their case as an exhibit. That's one of the roles I saw myself.
So when you said it, because what you've given me is a back vision of Antioch School of Law, because I had a friend who was into public housing many years, I mean almost 50 years ago, and she had Antioch School of Law to represent her.
That's right.
So this is how I know about.
I'm gonna tell you something real quick that a lot of people don't know. Jean Carn, black woman.
Yeah.
Edgar, a white male. Jean meets Edward. She was with George Washington, D.C. law students in court. Oh gosh, when I was growing up, like I guess I could have been like 15, 16, 17, and I lived near the court. And so when I was bored, if I
walk right down the
no,
street.
it was worse. I used to school sometime and go to the court and sit in there and listen to cases. Okay, so and then that's how I would see, and I would go to landlord and tenant because I have a sister that was attorney, and I worked for Ken Lowinger, who was one of the top landlords in District of Columbia. And only people would know that if you're watching the show, and if you're about 70, 80, y'all all know Ken Lowinger, and you know Herman Miller. Herman never lost a case. And I was assigned to Herman Miller, and I used to have to go to court with Mr. Miller. Oh, Mr. Miller would stand up, and the judge he quote the law, and I was impressed with all that. So I took all of that to incorporate in myself. I went to Mount Ida Junior College, an all-girl Ivy League school. As you remember, you knew Lori Prucher. Lori went to school down the street from me. Her school was called Newton at the Sacred Heart, an all-girl public, all-girl college too. But we didn't know each other then. We met at the Housing Authority. But that's what bonded us, that Massachusetts education system. So at Mount Ida all-girls school, it's 600 girls, 14 of us are black, 4 of us from the ghetto, and 1 person lived on Florida Avenue, Celestine Johnson. Geraldine Hooker went to Margaret Washington, and myself. None of us know each other. We met at Mount Ida. When I get to Mount Ida, I use my organizing skills. So I have a room. I have 2 Caucasian white girls roommate, 1 black girl roommate, Carmichael. And we called her Carmichael. So we got in a big racial thing up there with the 2 Caucasian girls in the room. They called us the N-word. Now, you know, I come out ghetto. White people don't talk to us like that.
Right.
So this is what I did. Carmichael be praying for him because she went to right here on Maryland Avenue, Church of God in Christ, Myrna Summers. She prayed for him. I did the paperwork to have them removed. Now we need 2 more roommates. I went on campus and recruited them. So I get 1 roommate from St. Thomas, Marva, another roommate, Puerto Rican, Laura. So the 4 of us remain roommates. Now we get a group together called Soul Sisters. All the schools would have black rooms. Okay, so Mount Ida had to make way for us. So we had a fake one. Every Saturday we could put up all the little afro, everything. But this is what you didn't know, Clarence. You coming from Northeastern, you come to one of our parties. First of all, we were scared to tell you that when you come to our school, our parties was over at 10 o'clock at night. But we trying to tell you that the party started at 8. And we're thinking that we can keep you at the party and deal with the security. Wrong. You was off of that property. So it was like I always known how to organize a group of people, but I was not a great success with the citywide advisory board with the District Columbia Housing Authority.
How did you get there? How did you get on this? How did you get?
Yeah. Okay. Well, this is how. Sometimes I was a leader because I said I was the leader. I'm going to be the leader. And even in my neighborhood, my sister tells this story, one of my younger sisters. In my neighborhood, every year we would raise money to go to Glen Echo. Debbie Kopak lived in my community. She was white with long blonde hair. Now, let me tell you about my long blonde hair. I want you to Google. Black people in Africa, darker than me, have blonde hair like this, and it's their real hair. Yeah. See, we don't know our history. Right. And when people say, well, why you wear this? The queens in Africa, they wore wigs, they dyed their hair, they used tea to dye their hair, they make the beautiful wraps. We are the queen of everything from clothes to makeup, so we should never knock somebody who wear makeup, etc. at all because it have a history. We are all queens, okay? But you can only have one navigator. The navigator is the person who's the best person that's qualified to navigate us through the,
He or she may be the best, but sometimes they may not have to be the best, but could become the best because of the team that they have.
Exactly, because when I leave, you're going to be the next navigator, right. And if you stay in your lane,
that's your lane. Now I'll tell you something. When you start the conversation, and the first thing I said was a person have to know their role. See, we don't want to know our role. We don't want to accept our role. Then we begin to move over the role that we need to play because sometimes everybody don't want people to lead them.
Well, guess what? Dr. Sharon Barnes taught me this. Stand what you can chance. Yeah. So now this is what I know. I get out of my lane, but before I get out of my lane, I research you out your lane. So now you're going to have to know how you get back in your lane, and there comes a time you have to have allies and make amends. You got to be the better woman.
You got to humble yourself.
And
you got to humble yourself.
Don't think it don't hurt.
Yeah,
it hurts.
But it builds character.
A great leader know when to.
It builds character.
You gotta humble yourself.
Yeah. It builds character.
And trust me, the day that you now, one thing I don't have no problems doing. I will hurt your feelings. I know I hurt your feelings. Allah say give it 3 days, and after 3 days I have to come back to you, and I got to apologize, and I have to look at what I did wrong, not you. What I did wrong. Now, if I keep doing the same behavior, then this is what I got to accept. Aquarius, you like doing it, so you're gonna stand what you can chance.
Mm-hmm.
And see, that's the point I'm making. When you I can't talk to everybody. So as a navigator, and I got the right team. But see, first of all, we got to be on the right ground page. And I'm gonna be honest. Do not play games with me.
Yeah.
Now, I don't want you to think I'm going to shoot you and all of that, use the tongue, embarrass you in public. No, I'm not. But I'm going to tell you what I am going to do. I am going to research you, and I'm going to expose you. And when I expose you, I'm going to expose you on facts, not allegation. When I expose you and I say, you did so-and-so, here's the evidence. I said this resident council treasurer wrote the check incorrectly. Here's a copy of the check. Teach her to do the check correctly. That's all it takes. If you got to train correctly, then you pay attention to who you training. Now, one thing about don't become a leader if you don't understand enemies.
Well,
you gotta have because seriously, you gotta have enemies.
You cannot be a leader if you don't have no enemies.
Right, because you're gonna have enemies.
You cannot. No, I tell you this here. You know, I work with different organizations. I work around a lot of men. You know,
but what it's like working around a lot of men? They not stay in their lane. Do y'all argue like we do? Because I noticed this about y'all though. Y'all can fake it better. Y'all can all be in a setting. Y'all would still speak to each other.
Yeah. I tell you something. You know, this city right now, it's going through a lot. To tell you this, right? And it was told to me once upon a time ago to say, if y'all get together, y'all can make a big difference. This was almost like maybe 15 years ago. I said, if y'all get together with the knowledge that y'all have, y'all can make a big difference in this city. But it have to be one leader.
That's correct.
It have to be one leader. So 15, 20 years later, there's no leader. Because nobody want to let one person and let us be. Because you know they say you got one chief,
yes.
And then we got to be Indians. Most people want to be a chief because of the information that they feel that they have is more valuable than the next man. I personally, myself, because I be among the men, I don't care who's the chief because I already know what my lane is. I know what my responsibility is. But every man don't always know what his or she's responsibility is when it comes down to working in the community or coming together as a group. And it took a woman to say that. Because man don't even hardly want to listen to a woman neither. But my greatest goal is that I listen to women, and it made me the successful guy that I am today because of what women had in store to me. My mother, my grandmother, yourself. You know, I can call Miss Whitfield. I can call her names all the way. You know what I mean? Because
But see, here's the point I'm making with you. You never had any problems. Clarence, you know whenever you call my house that I'm going to have you on the phone for at least 20 minutes? You know you cannot call me and ask me one question without me giving you the history real quick. Because when I give you the history real quick and then answer your question, then you know how to take that history, my answer, put it in your equation, and you got to, have I ever led you down the wrong road?
That's why we doing Clarence Miles in the community.
And you know what? I tell you what is even more interesting. Any of those of you out in the audience that's hearing this that do not like, do not care for, don't understand, I talk too much, Aquarius Vann-Ghasna, if I helped you, guess what? Tell the truth. Mm-hmm. I never gave you no wrong information either.
Right. Yeah, and you know, and what I'm saying is a lot of times, you know, we have a problem with helping people and allowing people to help us. And what we do now. So this is what I want to talk about, our young folks
Now let me tell
our
you.
young folks in the community.
I like them. Let me tell you about them. Let me tell you something funny. First of all, what my generation created the problem. So first of all, you need to recognize that, because by the time you start having your children, the majority of us refuse to teach them how to say yes, sir, good morning, how are you, whip your ass when you really in my grown-up business, because my friends are in here and you go into your room. So we stopped that. We started saying, and it's not that you...
Did you stop it, or the generation somewhat behind you stopped it?
No, it was us, because these people, I'm the grandmother, and we the mothers.
Yeah, but this is what I'm saying.
And we
this is what you're saying. You're the grandmother. So therefore, your grandkids had a mother.
Let me tell you, grandmother's got a lot of influence in
understand what I'm
grandchildren.
saying.
I heard
We're not talking about, my grandmother raised me, and she raised me very, very well, right? My mother raised me very, very well. I raised my son very, very well.
Everybody's not
and now
doing
my
that.
son
is raising his very, very well.
No, he's not, and that's what I'm trying to say.
So
to you.
his generation stopped it with y'all, because it's not that he don't know.
Right.
See, here's the difference. See, right now he going through whatever he's going through, but here's how it go down in his generation.
Yeah.
Let me tell you the secret. When he get jammed, everything you taught him and everybody else taught him, it's on a shelf, because here's the difference. He was taught. He just don't use it.
Yeah, but we understand. But what you were saying is, what you were saying about.
But we have another group.
You said you try to blame.
Oh
yourself.
yeah, I am. I'm gonna tell you.
Yourself.
Yeah, I am one of the blame.
What I'm saying is that your mother raised you, and she raised you well, and she taught you well, and when you raise your son, I'm quite sure you raised your son well.
I guess people used to say you got to have the mother instinct as well, but one of the
What is a mother instinct?
a mother instinct. We can feel, believe it or not. But see, you got to know the soul of your child first.
I'm already
so let me say this: a mother who has the soul of her child.
Yeah.
When you sick in the morning, you done got that phone call when she said, I'm calling you because I felt that you didn't feel too good, and you didn't. Mm-hmm. So that's the soul of a mother. Mm-hmm. When you come, she wants you to come in the house at 10 o'clock. She can't go to sleep till you come in. Mm-hmm. Because, see, she's concerned because she's looking at what goes on in the street. She already know who you hang out with, whether you know it or not. Because there's some of your friends you can bring in the house, and some of your friends you got to keep out the house. Your mother know all about them friends that you got to keep out the house. Because when her soul, she finds, if I keep telling you, I don't want you to hang with Rick, you won't hang with Rick. So a soul of a mother, she know how to. She'll turn it around. She'll say, Clarence, bring Rick for dinner. So now what she's going to do is she's going to try to teach Rick that have the same value she taught you. And 9 times out of 10, sometimes Rick be happy because he'll say, well, Miss Miles, my family don't do this. Y'all really sit at the table and really talk and eat? No cell phones at this table. So mothers, we are mothers of mothers. Fathers are fathers of fathers. And when I say that, this is what I mean. In order for the younger generation to get where they are, first of all, we have to accept who they are, whether we like it or not. So once you accept them who they are, now you have to try to craft, how can I get you to be where I need you to be at? Mm-hmm. Now, you don't have a high school education. You done dropped out of school. That's a terrible decision I have to make. Do I keep Clarence in the house, let him eat up all the food? He can't get to none of the and Muriel got 1,000 programs for you to go to.
And I don't understand when people be saying there's no programs in Washington, D.C. I've been telling them, look here, you're talking to the wrong person when you say that.
There's no parents. I'm going to give you a message. If your children are living in your house and they are between the ages of 18
24.
No, I'm going down. 18 to 12, because you got 12 and 13-year-olds still dropping out of school. Yeah, take your homes back. Now, how do you take your home back? Hey, you may have to sit that child down and y'all do an MOU and they have to sign it and tell the child, I'm really being honest with you. You don't like doing your homework. Well, I'm going to have to get you a tutor. because you cannot live in my house and do this. Because, see, if I put you out, I don't see a good thing for you. You know, that's when we used to get sent to our aunts and you go somewhere to see who could do what with you. Yeah. Because the worst thing a mother or a father, and this what y'all kids need to really know, because you call mom a B all the time. But let me tell you what that B word really means. We're beautiful. We're intelligent. That's the B, beautiful. The I is intelligent. B-I. The T is teaching. The C, you may have to be charitable. And the H is humble.
That's right. So,
and see, we got to stop getting hung up with they want to say, that's my dog. Okay, what we teach them now is, okay, but guess what? When you go in the workforce and you assign a job, that's your street language. The job have a language. So when these young people are in your summer programs, you need to take at least 20 minutes and teach them vocabulary. Seriously, because what they do is you can go into any government building, whether it's federal, whether it's local, whether it's a corporation, a young person in their 20s, yo, bring the mail over here, but that's the best mail clerk. The yo is in the street. You know, and we need to do that because, see, when I was growing up, we was taught that in the school. You had a class, how to dress for success. You had a class. I can tell you now, when you do an interview, okay, let me say this. First of all, we all don't know how to do a resume. So if you get the person that know how to put you on paper, you got to know how to sell yourself on the interview. Yeah. So on the interview, we don't wear do-rags and, you know, you got to have square clothes. See, that's why I'm a hoarder. Square clothes. Now, do you know what square clothes is?
Now, let the people know what square clothes is. Let the people know.
Okay, square clothes is when you wear the three-piece suit to work without the tie or the three-piece suit with the tie. Yeah. For girls, you wearing the pantsuit and the skirt. Okay, those are square clothes. Right. Okay, so and that's a problem with me. Clarence, if you come to my house now, you would say, Aquarius, I don't know what you done. Ever since I was evicted from my office when I lost my bid for the resident council president, and then when I leave the housing authority, I got all that world in my house. Can you imagine all of this stuff all in here? I'm being for real, and I'm sorting it. And I can't get rid of it like that, right? So I'm coming across a lot of my past, too, because part of my world, when I came back from Mount Ida Junior College, my first professional job was I worked for Special Approaches and Juvenile Assistance on 18th and that's the first runaway house. And Debbie Shaw, if you get her on your show, she will remember that.
Yeah, Debbie Shaw was one of my, I worked with Debbie Shaw. That's how I started doing the type of work that I'm doing.
Okay, well, Debbie Shaw was affiliated with in juvenile assistance. And so one thing about Debbie, okay, so I have that background, and so was Lori Capelin. Mm-hmm. And Lori had the Latino organization up on 18th Street. So all I can say is I was blessed because I was trained by masters and icons. So who you see today, you see a product of Federal City College, which was started with C.L.R. James, Roger Halou, Dr. Sandra Giles, Dr. Ida Dawn. I had all these teachers all in my head, and they were like that. They taught us how to be fair. Understand the difference to who you are in America. Understand the slave and the slave mentality which we carry. Because one thing I learned in public housing, keys. As the president, I never owned the key. Everybody can have a key but me, because I saw that like slavery, everybody with the key. So it's just so much to say in urban planning. I'm going to bring it back to the urban planning.
Yeah.
Because the District of Columbia Housing Authority is now planning new communities. Yeah. And when I call a new community, any of our community, they have a vacancy rate, and we all do. You're getting brand new residents moving in. Your behavior got to change, or the brand new neighbors are going to become who we are. But if the brand new neighbors come in your community and you already got a structure, you got something, say, welcome to, welcome to Potomac Gardens. This is where we have little lights is back here. And to be honest with you, I'm going to be honest, Clarence, I send people to your program too, because I feel like this. Whenever there's a on-site program in public housing, any public housing resident should feel like this is a safe house. If you in Langston,
Yeah.
and Clarence is there, you get in trouble, run down. I tell them,
Yeah.
everywhere where I know a provider is and what time y'all are on site, that's a safe house.
Safe house all the time. There's one thing about what we're talking about, this Clarence Miles in the community, is we're talking to Aquarius, a well-known person who great leadership around the metropolitan area. I want to say from the outside to the inside of you being a commissioner of the D.C. Housing Authority, on the outside you being you, a person who have knowledge about the Washington, D.C. area, grew up in Chinatown, a person who today is one of the most recognized person here, an influential person here in Washington, D.C. I would just want to tell you, I want to thank you for coming. See, you know what? We haven't even scratched the surface
No,
of what our conversation.
You know why? If I've been now I'm going to really make you laugh because you ain't getting it. I've been a commissioner for 17 years. You've been a provider for more than 17 years because I dealt with you before even becoming a commissioner.
Yeah. Yes.
Because, see, I was an organizer.
Yeah.
From an organizer, I was an advocate.
Yes.
I was a paralegal.
Yeah.
When I say I was, I mean I worked in those fields. Now, let me tell you who I am.
You know what I like about I was? That I was able.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now, let me tell you who I am. I am no longer I was. Today, I am Aquarius Vann-Ghasna. I'm an independent contractor. I am also an international storyteller under the apprenticeship Antioch. And I go around to D.C. public schools for 1 hour with a team of international women from Iran, Liberia, Trinidad, Cameroon. Baba Joe that plays the drums, he's on our team. Herb Scott, as a matter of fact, I would like to invite you to Mr. Henry's only on a Wednesday night because that's when Herb Scott play. As a matter of fact, you need to contact Herb Scott so he can come here, show your kids about the different instruments in jazz, because we teach kids about jazz, and the kids learn jazz. Now, let me tell you, being a commissioner, that helps me knowing how to communicate. And being a commissioner shows me how to adjust from school to school, because we go from charter schools to public schools, and all those kids have a different atmosphere. That's why I'm learning from kids. That's why I know the first thing I'm challenging you, Clarence, is that you're going to have to start a youth, I don't know what you're going to call it, but you're going to have to teach youth how to read their lease. If they are on the lease, lease brief it so they can understand their rights on the lease. I'm challenging you to train the kids once again. I don't invent the wheel. I capacity build. That's why I'm a great leader. Other leaders, what they do, if Clarence already did something so successful, if I win, I'm going to knock down everything he did, which is stupid. Keep what Clarence done and capacity build on it. If I was to run for president of Potomac Gardens, Misha Petaway now have Kakaya there doing seed, the detox. I'm going to keep the detox. Anything Misha done did good. I'm not getting rid of it like she got rid of everything I did. I'm keeping it. But guess what? I'm not even running for president. I'm putting this out there right now. In Potomac Gardens, I'm not running to be the president. I would mess up my legend. As the president of Potomac Gardens, you got $25 every year because you washed in the laundry room. I try to teach you that you was an investor. It was a problem. You're going to help, but you're going to help me with some of my problems because I learned that from you when you was teaching the kids the STEM program, and I was down here.
But again, one more time, see, like a lot of times because we are moving forward, especially with this conversation. A lot of time, yesterday is our greatest leader. Yesterday was our greatest leader. But
I like
today,
that. Yesterday was our greatest leader.
Yeah, but today, it's a greater hero.
Yes.
And I'm sitting across the table at a greater hero. So guess what? whatever came between that and that,
Right.
it only made you
A better person.
Right. So guess what? A lot of times, I say this here. I'm here because there was a lot of folks who didn't want me here. But I got here because somebody gave me the key. And they gave me the key. They said, if they have a problem, tell them to come and see me. I just want to ask you, Bonnie, we had this conversation. It's a lot of information that you provided for us. But we want to get some information just in case somebody might call here or might see me in the street, want to know who this young lady is. So do you have any information or email or phone?
Yes, the best way to contact me actually is by email. My email is Commissioner Vann-Ghasna 12@gmail.com. So let me do it again. Commissioner, COMMISSIONER, V as in Victor, ANNGHASRI 12@gmail. My number,
Yeah, your phone number. Yeah.
area code 301-821-6933. Former Commissioner Aquarius Vann-Ghasna, District of Columbia Housing Authority. I am an activist, a paralegal, and an independent contractor.
Anytime you come to Clarence Madison community, you're always welcome. Again, we're at the historical Langston Dwellings, a place that so much history here. This is the oldest housing complex in Washington D.C. It's the second oldest complex in the United States.
And y'all had President Obama here too.
Yes. Oh yes.
The only public housing
Yes,
that
yes.
President Obama came to.
Yes. And I'm a leader at this Clarence Madison community, and I want to thank you for coming. I want you to come back.
I will.
I want you to come back.
We have a lot to talk about.
We got a lot to talk about. We touched on a lot of things, and we shared a lot of things. But this Clarence Madison community, this is a historical Langston Dwellings. I just want everybody to reach out and say, hey, I'm going to close with this. October the 3rd, my birthday, which will be tomorrow, I'll be 67 years old.
What you going to do for your birthday?
I'm going to thank the Lord.
All right.
Thank you, and I want to thank you again.
And before you close, here are some documents for you to keep, and they got in the brain, but this is for you to know me, and I would never got any of those documents other than my registration without your help, and many of it just like you.
Okay, thank you so much. I appreciate it.
I appreciate
and
you
so
too.
thank you again, this Clarence Madison community, and we'll see you the next time. Thank you.